a little bit first, just about kind of what you're seeing. And I know you've got thousands of resellers and VARs, if you will, and MSPs that are selling Checkpoint. And then you also got an executive team that's talking to end customers about what their experience is working with the VARs, because that's really what your job is. So talk a little bit about some of the trends that you're seeing out there in the industry.
Yeah, if we kick off with really the trends we're seeing and the bigger picture opportunity with network as a service, over the last few years, just as a human race, we've seen this increase and we've had this expectation of moving to an online tech-based experience for everything that we were going through in life, right? We experienced this at a very personal and raw level and in our day-to-day kind of like consumer lives. But we took all of that and all of that experience, and that flows now into the work that we do and the expectations that we have for our employers, for our employees, from all the companies that we work with, in whatever capacity that might be. And we hear this all the time. And so this new standard has been set for now the first trend of really a digital experience for everything that we do, right?
Yeah. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was going to say, I was just going to move on to the next trend. So I don't know.
It's funny. I just to dive in on that a little bit. So obviously I owned a company for 15 years and we were selling stuff to customers. And one of the things that we thought was like a big problem is a customer can order a pizza and they get a tracker and they know exactly where it is when it's being made and everything. And then the pandemic kind of just sped that up where, you order sandwiches, you order groceries and all that. And there was actually, the stats are actually that there was a 300% increase in online marketplaces because customers just use that. And so just as like as a VAR or at MSP, the thing to consider is if my customer can get better tracking on a pizza than they can on $1 million in infrastructure, like they're going to be upset about that. It's kind of a problem that we need to address. I just thought that was kind of funny.
Absolutely. The next thing is we're hearing this new thing from customers that they really want to just have a solution. They just want whatever it is they need. They sometimes don't even know that, but whatever it is they need, they just want it to work. And MSPs have this unique ability to take that and whatever vendors they're choosing and really add it into a stack and offer that solution out to their customers. That whatever customer base they're going after, this is a way that they're differentiating themselves in the market that they're servicing, right? And as they take that and they differentiate themselves, the customers at the end, this is powered by, fill in the vendor name, it's becoming so less relevant and it's superseded by the make things work, follow the SLAs, make sure they're met.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Yep, keep going.
This phenomenon is really where that as a service model begins to truly make sense for our MSP partners and how they deliver it to their customers or how they're able to.
100%. I love it. So one of the things that I saw as a company is we started really the business as a VAR. And then we would go to customers and we would sell them firewalls, we'd sell them security solutions, we'd sell them networking. And more like they would come to us and say, hey, I just want my stuff to work. Like I'm building this warehouse. And, of course, our sales team, we have sales engineers go in, hey, let me tell you about the throughput on this firewall. And when you turn on the security services, and we literally would have customers go, I don't really give a shit. Like, I really just want you to make things work in my facility. Can you do that? And we actually got an email from a CIO that literally said, the trail was our engineer telling him a bunch of technology stuff. And he literally responded back and said, hey man, I just want to pay a bill and I want my network to work in my warehouse. Can you do that?
That's right. Make it happen.
Like, the world is changing now. We're now in this new model. It's no longer innovative to sell them this stuff. It's now just infrastructure, and it's like a utility. And so I agree 100% with your thinking there.
That's right. And, so they want the digital experience. They want it just to work for them. They want it to cover everything that's going to be in their networks, but they need options. How do they actually make that happen? And so they look towards subscriptions as a very, very practical option for them when it comes to actually procuring all of these things that they want and need to happen, right? This is now we pivot from just as a service is really important to now we're pivoting to network as a service. And a network as a service model is opportunity for these partners to deliver to their customers that next level of how do we differentiate? How do we innovate? How do we make different? And this is where we're seeing all of that opportunity today.
Yeah, so I agree 100%. Like specifically, and just thinking about this selfishly from the reseller's perspective, if you will, one of the opportunities with doing the subscription is you're really packaging things together and delivering an outcome. And when you're doing that, it just changes kind of the margins and the capabilities in it.
Right.
And I believe more and more we just need to present it really as an option. And so definitely trends that we saw. Now, from a motivational perspective, if you're thinking about, if you're on the call and you're a VAR and MSP and you're thinking about building this, there's a lot of kind of benefits that we saw when we moved into this, business model. Obviously, the first one is growing recurring revenue. And if you're on the call, that's really right here. You're thinking about growing recurring revenue. And if you can grow your recurring revenue, then your company is worth more and things like that. So huge opportunity there. And then the other thing we found is that you just sell a lot more when you offer the subscription option. You think about like how we buy houses and cars. Well, if everybody paid cash for their car, they probably wouldn't be driving, a Tesla. It'd probably be something a little bit more reasonable, right? So if you offer that subscription option, your customers can obviously afford more. So it's great for them. And the other thing we've heard, and I've heard this a lot recently, is that your company itself is not as much lumpy from a up and down perspective. And so if you going into the pandemic, we had a lot of our customers that put purchases on hold and things like that. If your revenue is recurring and all that, it gives your company obviously a lot more opportunity to be stable. And then the other thing too that I think is something that people don't spend enough time thinking about is if you're transaction based. I'm talking about I'm going to ship you, or I'm going to come out and I'm going to configure your security services, whether it's firewalls and things like that. Well, that's really transaction in one time. But if I go in and I'm selling them a 60-month relationship where I'm now managing that on an ongoing basis, I now control that, or I own that relationship with my customer for delivering that outcome. So your retention is just way different, and you're not competing against a lot of necessarily the online, resellers and things like that. And so overall, it's obvious your company value increases, your MRR grows, and so there's just a lot of great opportunities. If I say a big if you can solve the riddle, if you will, of selling networks on subscription.